Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into the incredibly prolific world of Roger Corman.
Often called the king of B movies.
Yeah, exactly. A listener pointed out his career over 450 films, 7 decades, and we thought, okay, this needs a closer look.
It really does. An astonishing output.
So our mission today is really to understand how he did it, what made his low-budget approach work so well.
And why it still matters today. We've got some great material that sheds light on how Corman operated. He was a master of turning limitations into strengths.
Tight budgets, fast schedules.
Exactly. Not roadblocks, but fuel. Fuel for innovation, and interestingly, a training ground for so many huge Hollywood names later on.
It really speaks to his grasp of both the creative and the business side.
Absolutely. A sharp understanding there.
Okay, so let's get into it. Roger William Corman, born in Detroit, 1926.
Right, and served in the Navy, World War II.
And then gets an engineering degree from Stanford. That seems,
Huh?
well, unexpected for a future filmmaker.
It really does. You wouldn't necessarily predict that path. And you wonder how that analytical, maybe problem-solving mindset from engineering played into things later.
Yeah, maybe subconsciously. But the real spark seems to be 1953. He sold his first screenplay.
The House in the Sea, yeah. But then the studio turned it into Highway Dragnet, and apparently he wasn't happy with the result.
Ah, okay. So that disappointment.
It seems like that was a key moment, made him want more control, direct control over his work and how it got to the audience.
And he jumped right in. Because 1954, he produces Monster from the Ocean Floor.
For only $12,000.
Exactly. 12,000. Today that wouldn't even cover catering probably.
Likely not, and yet it turned a profit.
Which right there, that sets the template, doesn't it? Fast, cheap, but profitable. Find the audience.
Precisely. That first film basically laid out his whole business model. Keep costs down, work fast, make sure it connects.
And his directing debut wasn't far behind, Five Guns West in 55.
Yeah, and his work with AIP, American International Pictures, really cemented that reputation. He could deliver, even with major constraints.
He proved he could work in the system, but always efficiently. Always with his own vision in mind.
Definitely.
So moving into the late 50s, early 60s, Corman seems to have this incredible knack for figuring out what younger audiences wanted.
Oh, totally. He tapped right into the zeitgeist, especially for teenagers.
We're talking drive-in monster movies, right?
Yeah.
The classics.
Yeah, Attack of the Crab Monsters, Not of This Earth, The Wasp Women. They might seem a bit campy now, perhaps.
Yeah, more than a bit.
But they offered exactly the kind of escapism and low-budget thrills that hit the spot for that audience. Delivered the goods, B-movie style.
The signature energy.
Yeah.
And then there's the almost mythical story of Little Shop of Horrors, 1960.
Ah, yes. Famously shot in just 2 days and 1 night.
How is that even possible? It's become this legendary feat of resourcefulness.
It really has, especially considering its afterlife as a hit musical big-budget movie.
So how did he pull that off?
Just incredible efficiency, lightning-fast decisions, meticulous planning beforehand, you'd have to assume, a super-focused crew.
It really shows how he could maximize every single second, every dollar.
And what's amazing is despite that crazy speed, it has this really specific blend of horror and comedy that just worked.
Yeah.
And still works.
But he wasn't only doing, creature features. He shifted gears a bit with the Edgar Allan Poe cycle in the 60s.
Right, the Gothic horror films, that's a really important phase.
Often starring Vincent Price. Like House of Usher, Pit and the Pendulum.
The Mask of the Red Death. Yeah, these felt different. A step up, maybe?
Definitely seemed like it. Better production values, more focus on psychological stuff.
Exactly. Still genre films, but showing another side of Corman's directing, more elaborate sets sometimes, a richer look, exploring Poe's themes.
And having Vincent Price must have helped.
Oh, absolutely. Brought a certain weight, a gravitas to them. They often got more critical notice, too, compared to the earlier, more sensational stuff.
Okay, then comes the 70s. Corman makes a big move, founds New World Pictures.
Yeah, 1970. And this wasn't just more of the same low-budget formula, though that was part of it.
It seemed broader, right?
Absolutely. New World had this fascinating dual role. On one hand, yes, it kept producing those genre films under his usual tight control.
But on the other hand,
he started distributing major international art films. Bergman, Fellini, Kurosawa, Truffaut, bringing their work to American audiences.
Wow. That's quite a contrast. Bergman and, say,
Women in Prison movies, yeah. Which New World also became known for.
It really shows a very pragmatic view of the industry, doesn't it? Catering to totally different tastes at the same time.
Exactly. He knew the market segments.
Yeah.
And his production philosophy at New World was consistent. Give young talent creative freedom.
But within those strict budget and schedule limits. Always the limits.
Always the limits. It created this vibrant, maybe demanding environment. Experimentation was okay, but you had to be responsible with the money.
And he kept spotting trends, like the counterculture stuff in the 60s.
The Wild Angels, The Trip, tapping right into them.
And then later, those exploitation genres that were big in the 70s.
Right, nurse movies, car chases.
Yeah.
He had his finger on the pulse of what would sell in certain markets. Often these films, these exploitation genres, were just low-budget pictures focusing on sensational topics to grab an audience.
And New World really cemented its reputation as this incredible, well, incubator for talent. People called the Corman Film School.
And for very good reason. The list of directors who got their start there is just staggering.
Yeah, I mean, you read the names and it's wow.
Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, Ron Howard, James Cameron, Jonathan Demme, Joe Dante. It just goes on.
It's unbelievable, the concentration of future A-listers.
And not just directors. He gave early breaks to actors, too. Think about Jack Nicholson, Robert De Niro, Sylvester Stallone.
Sandra Bullock, even.
Sandra Bullock, exactly. His eye for talent extended everywhere. Behind the camera, too, Janusz Kaminski, the cinematographer.
Mark Goldblatt, the editor. James Horner, the composer.
All got early experience with Corman.
So what was the secret? What made his mentorship, if you can call it that, so effective?
I think the key was real responsibility. He didn't just have them fetching coffee. He gave them significant control over projects.
So they were really making films.
Yes, bringing their own vision, but again, within those constraints. That mix of freedom and hard limits seems to have been an incredibly powerful learning tool.
And then there's that famous Coppola quote about Corman's 3 rules.
Yes. No going over budget, no going over schedule.
And there had to be nudity.
Right. It's funny, but it also cuts to the core of his practical, sometimes, let's say, commercially minded approach.
Beyond the humor, though, it underlines that relentless focus on delivery, on time, on budget.
Absolutely. It was intense, high pressure. Not for everyone, surely. But the people who came through it gained immense discipline, resourcefulness, problem-solving skills.
Skills that served them very well later on bigger pictures.
Invaluable skills, yeah.
It sounds like Corman was constantly innovating his production methods, too, mostly out of sheer necessity.
Oh, definitely. Those tight budgets forced creativity. He basically pioneered cost-saving techniques that indie filmmakers still learn from.
Like recycling sets and props.
Constantly. And footage, too. If he paid for a big, expensive explosion,
you'd probably see it again in another movie.
You could almost bet on it appearing in several films. He also perfected shooting movies back-to-back, same location, same crew, knock out 2 or 3 pictures. Huge savings.
And distribution. He didn't always rely on the big studios, did he?
No, he was smart about that. Targeted drive-ins directly, then jumped onto the home video market early. He found ways around the traditional gatekeepers.
He really understood those underserved markets.
And fundamentally, he understood what audiences wanted from a genre film. He knew how to deliver the thrills, the action, the scares, whatever it was, efficiently.
It wasn't just random cost-cutting. It was strategic.
Exactly. Putting the limited money where it counted most for the audience experience. He had that famous quote, something like,
keep an eye on your production costs. The moment you slack on that, the sharks will come circling.
That's the one. It sums up his belief. Financial discipline equals creative control. It also let him take risks on weirder stuff, counterculture themes, things studios might not touch.
So let's talk legacy. Why is Roger Corman still such a significant figure?
Well, his impact is just undeniable and really multifaceted. His company, Concord New Horizons, kept going well into the 2000s, adapting to new tech, new distribution.
And the Academy finally gave him an honorary Oscar in 2009.
Which was long overdue, frankly, a huge acknowledgement. Plus, there's that great documentary, Corman's World.
Exploits of a Hollywood Rebel. Yeah, I saw that.
It does such a good job showing his impact through all those amazing people he mentored. You really grasp the scale of his influence hearing from them.
It really drives home that point that you can be commercially successful and nurture new talent. They aren't mutually exclusive.
If you're resourceful and willing to take chances, yes. He proved that limitations can actually spark creativity, force you to think outside the box.
And maybe the biggest legacy is just the sheer number of careers he launched, giving people opportunities they might never have gotten otherwise.
Absolutely, that's huge. And even today, for independent filmmakers working with tight budgets, digital tools, Corman's lean methods are still incredibly relevant, instructive.
So pulling it all together, the big takeaway from Corman seems to be filmmaking is fundamentally about creativity, story, connecting with people,
Mhm.
not just big budgets.
Precisely. He went from those tiny monster movies to being this absolutely pivotal figure in independent film. His influence is still felt.
And his legacy's complex. You've got the exploitation filmmaker on one side.
But also the champion of art cinema, the incredible talent scout, a true film enthusiast underneath it all.
Yeah. And, okay, maybe not every single one of his 450 films is a masterpiece.
Huh, probably safe to say. But the impact of his best work, and maybe even more, the careers he helped build, that's undeniable.
He had that great self-deprecating quote, too.
Oh, the one about embarrassing a one-armed blind man?
Yeah. I made a few good pictures, a lot of mediocre pictures, and a lot of pictures so bad they'd embarrass a one-armed blind man.
Classic Corman humor. But it shouldn't mask his real significance. He was truly groundbreaking, hugely influential.
A fantastic way to sum him up. And it really leaves you thinking, how could those Corman principles, resourcefulness, spotting talent, working within limits, apply elsewhere? In other creative fields, maybe even just in your own life.
It's a powerful model.
Well, thanks for diving deep into the world of Roger Corman with us today.
My pleasure. Fascinating figure.
Until our next exploration.